Hey, quick note before we get started with this episode. It's Friday afternoon here, and everyone's had a pretty long week with school and everything, so I didn't really bother to ask the family to go on shutdown while recording this episode. So you may hear trampolining. You may hear YouTube in the other room. You may hear video gaming happening. I just wanted to apologize to you in advance if any of that is distracting. You may have been hearing them through episodes all throughout the year. I'm not sure. I just know that this week, I didn't even bother to ask them to be quiet. So just wanted to give you a heads up, and I hope you enjoy the prompt anyway, because I'm pretty excited about the cards that I pulled. Have fun. Here goes the prompt and the video for this week. Hey everybody, it's me, Nicole Rivera from the Stop Writing Alone podcast, and here on the MV Rivera YouTube channel. For the entire year of 2020, we've been trying to write 52 short stories in 52 weeks. So every Friday, I've been coming to you with a new writing prompt to get us inspired to write that story of the week. Back in the summer, I asked for any favorites that you might want to see done again. And it's 2020, so I know some people were dropping off. I got a couple of responses, but nothing overwhelming. I wanted to do a whole month of favorites at the middle of the year. But I didn't get enough response to really warrant that. So I figured I would just end off the year with a couple of my favorites. And these are the ones that I did hear responses about, the couple of responses I did. So this week is the first of one of my favorites, a sort of must-have writing prompt tool. I mean, I wanted to bring it to you now before the holidays too, in case you want to ask around and put it on your list for anybody that may be buying for you. And that is the Storymatic box. The Storymatic Classic is what I have. I actually have a couple of products by the Storymatic company. There's a Storymatic. There's another prompt game called Rememory, which taps into sort of more creative nonfiction, getting into memories. That's wonderful for creative nonfiction. It's also great. A couple of songwriter friends and poets have used it to great success. And then there's also their latest game, Synapses, which I have right back here. Synapses is a really fun sort of, it's very similar to improv. This is a box of yes. You ask questions about the story as you create it, rather than sitting and doing a full writing. You create a sentence and then you dig deeper and deeper and deeper, and while you started with nothing, you end up with this whole deep, wonderful, well thought out story and character. I actually have a short story that I wrote based on my first game of Synapses that may be one of the best stories that I wrote this year, that I'm in the process of editing, cleaning up, and trying to get out into the world. So I love Synapses. That's great for a group. But Storymatic is wonderful because you can play it with a group or you can do it on your own, as I'm about to show you. Also, there is a Storymatic Kids edition if you have any elementary, middle school age kids that are interested in creating their own stories. So the first time that we did Storymatic, I did the classic Storymatic. There are two color cards in this box. There are the gold cards and the copper cards. They're just like, would be a gold card and this would be a copper card. And in the classic game, you select two of each and you take the two gold cards, which are the character cards, and you put them together to create your character that's going to be in your story. And then you take the two character cards, which are kind of like the scenario cards that take you into your story. That is a fantastic way to develop a prompt and move forward. And this is a huge box. There's so many different combinations of things that you can do with that alone. That's one reason I love Storymatic. But the other reason is that in the little instruction booklet, which is full of so many different gems in their rules and how we should be writing story, they also have the classic Storymatic is what I just explained to you, but then there are variations on what you can play. Add to it, XYZ, shake it up, what you want, obstacle. And I've played pretty much every version of this game in a group or even, in a solitaire type version. But one of my favorites is the XYZ, and that's what I wanted to do with you this week. So XYZ is basically X, Y, and Z are going to be 3 different cards that I'm going to select. The X and Y will be gold cards, so character cards, and the Z will be one of the copper cards, the scenario cards, and you'll see why in a minute, because the whole prompt comes down to this single sentence. They say, think of the sentence, X is in conflict with Y about Z. So we're going to just plug in X. It's going to be a character, is in conflict with Y. It's going to be another character we choose. And that's going to be about whatever we pick up in Z. It's a pretty simple concept, but the stories that come out of this have been really wonderful. I've done this a couple of times in the writing prompt parties that I have with the Happy Campers and in the Stop Writing Alone Facebook group. And I've definitely done it when we were meeting with the Staten Island writing group, but we haven't had a live meeting in, it's not a year yet. I'm not going to say it's a year because it hasn't been a year yet, but it feels like it's been a really long time. So for us this week, I'm going to select our 3 cards. We're going to get 2 gold cards and 1 copper card, and our prompt will be determined by those 3 cards. Here we go. So X is in conflict with Y about Z. A boxer is in conflict with a practical joker about a box of kittens. I mean, that's wonderful. I would never come up with that at all. And this story is going to be fantastic. A boxer is in conflict with a practical joker about a box of kittens. That's it. No word count, nothing. I just want you to take this prompt. I want you to run with it. I want you to have fun. Go check out the Storymatic website. There is also a Storymatic Williamsburg edition, that Colonial Williamsburg edition that a couple of people in the Happy Campers Club found on eBay. I don't think they make it anymore, but if you're into like colonial type stuff, or it lends itself to sort of fantasy writing as well, there are some fun and interesting cards in there that, you know, are steeped in American colonial times that really just take stories in different directions. So yeah, Storymatic. Gotta love it. I did do an episode of Stop Writing Alone with Brian Mooney, the creator of Storymatic, so you might want to check that out so that you can hear how he's created. He's just a brilliant joy, wonderful person. But yeah, have fun with this prompt. And next week I will share with you another one of my favorites. If you are a listener of Stop Writing Alone, or you've gained anything from this YouTube, which is an offshoot of that, I would love to hear from you on the Stop Writing Alone voicemail. The phone number is 646-907-9607. And we're going to have a celebratory episode next week of Stop Writing Alone because it is our 100th episode. And I want to celebrate all that has come from Stop Writing Alone. Maybe this story is it for you. A boxer is in conflict with a practical joker over a box of kittens. Have fun. Enjoy. Happy writing, and I will see you next week.